Instant runoff voting. We're going to take a few minutes and explain just how it works. Let's say you have three candidates: Sam, Manny, and Joel. In a traditional election, you can only vote for one candidate. You might vote for Sam to win, or Manny, or Joel. If no one gets 50% of the vote plus one, a runoff would be scheduled between the two top vote getters. In instant runoff voting, you place your candidates 1, 2, 3 in order of preference. If no one gets 50% plus 1, a majority of the vote, the lowest candidate is eliminated and the voter's second choice gets that vote. The votes are redistributed. This may eliminate the need for a second election and greatly reduces the campaign season to reduce voter fatigue. Let's see how instant runoff voting works. Here you get to choose who you want to win the election, who you think is the best candidate for the job. But if they don't win, who would be your second choice, and who would be your third choice? Let's say that 39 voters thought that Sam should be elected. He was best for the job. And if Sam couldn't get elected, then possibly Manny. And if Manny couldn't get elected, then Joel. And 35 voters thought that Manny should come in first place, but if not Manny, then Joel, and if not Joel, then Sam. 26 voters thought Joel should be elected first, then Sam, and then Manny. There are 100 voters and 51 votes are needed to win. That's a majority, but this could be a percentage, or you could times these numbers by 1,000 to mimic an actual election. With instant runoff voting, the candidate with the least amount of votes is eliminated from the election, but his supporters' votes are transferred to the next choice. Let's go and run the instant runoff algorithm and see who wins. Can you guess who it is? Joel is the least favorite candidate with 26 votes. Therefore, he is eliminated. But the voters who supported Joel, their second choice was Sam, so their votes will ultimately be transferred to Sam. Manny gets 35 votes. Sam gets the second place votes from the Joel supporters, and they are added to his votes. (26 plus 39 equals 65). That's the majority. Sam is the winner. But Sam knew it was a close election, and indeed it was. Polling showed that he was neck and neck with Manny. Here it showed 39 to 35. Sam knew he had to go out and talk with the voters, specifically those that supported Manny, and convince them that he should be ranked ahead of Manny. Prior to the election, Sam kicked his campaign into high gear. He knew he had to get as many people to support him as possible. He wanted to get to that majority threshold outright. Sam knocked on as many doors as possible, hoping to convince him that he was best for the job. He let Manny's supporters know if they changed their mind and thought he was better, they could still vote for Manny second. That's how instant runoff voting works. He enlisted hundreds of volunteers, some previous Manny supporters, to go out and talk about the important issues in the campaign. And what separated him from Manny? Manny was a great guy, and they could still put him second. It was truly a grassroots campaign, and it was becoming very effective. Lawn signs were popping up everywhere you could see. But Sam didn't stop there. He went to community groups, churches, and neighborhood associations. It was truly an issues-based campaign. Sam tried to get as many votes possible, explaining how IRV worked, and they could still rank Manny second. He got their support, and they followed him to the polls. Let's see how Sam's hard work paid off. By convincing people he was better for the job, and with instant runoff voting they could still rank Manny second, he was able to get 10 votes away from Manny, increasing his total significantly. If he got just 2 more votes, he would have won the election outright with a majority. He was still very pleased, and his hundreds of volunteers were very happy as well. Before we run the algorithm, can you guess who wins? 51 votes are needed to win. Manny is now the least favorite candidate with 25 votes. Therefore, he is eliminated. The supporters who voted for Manny for first place, their votes will be transferred to Joel, their second choice. Let's count them. Sam has 49 votes. Joel's votes are transferred. 25 votes from Manny's supporters' second choice are added to his 26. Joel is the winner. If Sam would have received 39 votes to Manny's 35 votes, he would have won. But by working to get more votes from Manny's supporters, 49 votes, he lost. He lost because he got more support. If he would have just gotten 2 more votes, he would have had the majority and won the first round outright. How did this happen? It has to do with the complex vote shuffling that occurs with instant runoff voting. Knowing this, you have to ask yourself the question, am I hurting my candidate by voting for them? That's the fundamental question. This does not occur in any other voting system in the U.S. used to elect a candidate into office. Since the formation of our great republic, the core of our American democracy has been the right to vote. And implicit in that right is the notion that that vote be counted as it was intended when it was cast by the voter. When you go in that voting booth and vote for a candidate as number 1, you intend that it is helping rather than harming that candidate. With instant runoff voting, you can harm your candidate. Even the courts agree. Recently, the Supreme Court of Minnesota stated just that. Instant runoff voting could lead to a situation which a voter's vote for a candidate harms rather than helps the candidate. None of the parties in the lawsuit, including Fair Vote, dispute this fact. But the scenario described here was hypothetical, that this could happen. In fact, it has happened in a city council race in Aspen, Colorado. As reported by the Aspen Daily News, an analysis on the May 2009 election results show that if 75 people who had voted for a candidate as their first choice had voted for him as their second place choice, he would have won the election. Same example described here, but in a real-life election, he lost because he received too much support. Maybe he campaigned too hard. That's why a federal lawsuit will be filed in Aspen. Aspen is asking the voters to repeal instant runoff voting in the next election because of this and a host of other problems they had with instant runoff voting. It saddens me when I hear people say, "I want my vote to count," or "IRV is the most democratic way," or things like "IRV is fair." IRV elects a consensus candidate, when we've shown clearly it doesn't. Your vote can actually hurt the candidate. As far as electing a consensus candidate, you can see that that just doesn't happen. In the example where Sam lost because he got too much support, 75 voters actually chose him first and second compared to Joel's 51 voters. Do your homework. Type "Stop Instant Runoff Voting" into any search engine. You'll be amazed at what you find.